Eyesight is there, the high drive, deep center, go, 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 we're out of here, say ya, playa.
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood, Caladros, the 3-2, swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A dog pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good evening and welcome to Friday Night Action from the Kingsway South Gym. We've got non-conference matchup between Camden Eastside and Kingsway, two teams in very different positions, but both very successful this year. Camden Eastside, they're 7-11, so a lot of people are discounting them for that reason. However, you have to consider how tough of a division the Olympic National is. It is a gauntlet from start to finish. PVI, Camden, nearly nationally ranked programs, along with Camden Catholic, who's been hot this year, Bishop Eustace consistently well. Camden Eastside is just getting the short end of the stick because of the division that they're in. So I think that the philosophy of maybe not an over 500 Olympic team facing an over 500 Tri-County team is going to be fruitful for a great matchup tonight.
Oh, it should be a great matchup. And as we mentioned, Paul VI, Camden, Camden Catholic, Bishop Eustace, all some of the better schools in South Jersey. As you mentioned, fringe maybe national teams from years past. And then Camden Eastside 0-6 in the division, but they've really struggled against those guys. But outside of that, they've had a lot of success this year. We'll have to see how they fare against Kingsway tonight.
And for Kingsway, they're no stranger to the Olympic National. They played and lost to PVI and Camden Catholic in recent days, and that snapped a 15-game winning streak. They lost their first game of the season to Newman Goretti, 82-50. But then they came back, won 15 straight games, and now they're starting to come back down to earth. And by that, they're still 16-3, and they're still poised to be a top 4 seed in South Jersey Group 4. So wherever Kingsway goes, tonight is going to be a big stepping stone for Coach Kuzmic and their crew to get to that point.
Well, they currently sit 6th overall in Group 4 South power points, and those two losses that we mentioned against Paul VI and Camden Catholic, those are schools that are in Camden Eastside's division, so we'll have to see if losing to Olympic national teams is the trend that continues here for Kingsway, but obviously having a fantastic year, a 15-game win streak, as you just pointed out, Dan.
Yeah, and I mean, for Kingsway, this is a team that is largely underrated because of where they are. We're in the middle of nowhere, Gloucester County. Why would they have a good basketball team? These guys just do. Kai Tolley, he posters somebody basically every other game. He is a monster to watch at 6'6". Also, don't forget J.D. Johnson. He's making his first career start tonight. He's going to be somebody to watch that's been a valuable piece off the bench for Kingsway, and we'll get to see him in the limelight tonight. Hey, we're going to take a quick break as Camden Eastside and Kingsway are going to get introduced, and we're going to flip this camera back around and bring you 32 minutes of South Jersey action right here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Welcome back to the Kingsway South Gym. The starting lineup for Camden Eastside this afternoon will be Abdul Ba, Romello Mangum, Tyrone Washam, Bryce Hillman, and Elijah Satchel. Hillman with 15 points per game. He is the leading scorer on this Camden Eastside team. Like we said, 7-11 under Kenny Abbott this year. But like we said in the pregame open, they are in a undeniably tough division.
Absolutely, and I mean, when you look at Hillman's numbers, 15.3 points per game. He scored 11 points in their last contest, averages 1.4 steals per game, and he really knows how to score the basketball. Season-high 29 points against Shawnee all the way back on December 17th of 2024. And then on the other side of the ball, Tyrone Washam, 2.9 steals per game, has 100 assists flat coming into tonight. And had a double-double against Woodbury in one of their most recent games, 17 points, 12 assists. So somebody that looks to not only score but distribute the basketball as well for Camden Eastside.
Absolutely, and Kingsway switching it up at some pace tonight, as I'd like to thank Kingsway for making it so I can't read under these conditions. We've got Desir Williams-Bay, Maurice Tavares Jr., Terrence Collier, and Kai Tonley, along with J.D. Johnson, who, as we mentioned in the open, making his first career varsity start tonight as he's being introduced under the dim lighting of the South Gym. But Kingsway's in this game with confidence. They lost their last two to PVI Camden Catholic, got a bounce back the other day versus Williamstown in Tri-County Royal play. They're again going out of their comfort zone. They haven't played this team since 2018, back when Camden Eastside was called Woodrow Wilson. And these guys, with rejuvenated energy after their previous Olympic losses, are looking to get back into it tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at this Kingsway team, they're super balanced, with the leading scorer for them being Desir Williams-Bay with 10 points per game, scored 9 in their last contest. But they're a good defensive team with 3 of their 5 starters tonight averaging over 2 steals a game. So really looking to get out, create turnovers, and we'll have to see if they're aggressive against a good, fundamentally sound Camden Eastside team.
Absolutely. Camden Eastside will be on the left side of your screen with the white jerseys, their classic road jerseys with black and orange, black and orange accents on their numbers. Kingsway with their original home black jerseys. We've seen them a handful of times this year, as Kingsway coming in with a very, very respectable and very honorable 16-3. Camden Eastside at 7-11. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Jake Clark of Rowan University, formerly of Sterling High School. We've got Ryan Sieber on the production of Gateway Regional tonight, as Camden Eastside's cheerleaders all sprawled out to our front and left, ready to bring the energy to the basketball floor on this Friday night. Sirius from the Alan Parsons Project plays above, as the energy is ramped up here on this Gloucester County Showdown.
And for a team that wears red like Kingsway does, a lot of green in the crowd here tonight, I believe.
For Sunday's events.
Going to have to take a guess that to support the hometown Eagles.
I would have to take a guess. Tonight. Ball is tipped and we're underway. Eastside with first possession. Abdul Ba averaging 6.6 points per game with the Tigers this year. A sophomore, 5'10" in 18 games played this year. 18 3-points made. Ball is tipped beyond the half-court line. They keep the possession going. It goes back now to Tyrone Washam. Tips the ball to Satchel with 7 points per game on his end. And a shot off the bank is good. 2-0 Tigers, as now Kingsway will have their first possession. J.D. Johnson passing across the way to Tavares Jr. A notable absence in the lineup is Micah Hart. 9.5 points per game this year in 16 games played. A pivotal part of the offense not in the lineup, as Tolly works through the movements and ties the game with a layup off the glass.
And Dan, we talked about this pregame off the air. A lot of height on both of these teams. We're going to see who can be more dominant in the low post tonight. We saw both offenses getting their first basket down to the low block.
Absolutely. 2-2 tie game, minute and 10 seconds into this one. Ball is tipped again, deja vu of the last possession, as Washam now brings it to Ba. Too long on that, but he gets a rebound off of Kingsway tip. Possession stays alive. A spin move front of the rim, and it's rebounded by Terrence Collier. Johnson will bring this down the floor. Also a wide receiver on the Kingsway football team. deep open look, and he airballs it. That's just such a deflating feeling as a player when he's got an open look. You saw he looked around like, wait, nobody's going to guard me? I'll just shoot this ball. And then he didn't hit the rim. So I know some of my basketball friends, they say that in game, that's one of the worst feelings that you can have.
Yeah, but it's still early, and I think a lot of just trying to get loose. Obviously, you warm up.
Catch and shoot three, no good there. Rebound by Tavares. Tavares off the right hand, too long. Yeah, you'll see a lot of these first quarter jitters. It's something that we see a lot between teams of this caliber and of this size, to where sometimes they, we saw they had 50 minutes of layup lines because the JV game ended super early. So these guys had a lot of time to warm up. So sometimes a disruption in the rhythm can end up being detrimental. That ball goes into the east side sideline. And with 5:44 left in a 2-2 game, we're seeing shades of the Olympic Conference on the floor right now with this low-scoring affair so far. I've seen it with RV, I've seen it with Shawnee, Cherokee, Eustis, you name it. It's a low-scoring league over there. They rely on draining the clock because there's no shot clock, so the philosophy is they're not going to make a move until you do. That one is going to be a shot that's off the mark. Pulls up from three, no good. Rebound again by Collier. He's got three so far tonight. 5:15 left to play in the opening frame. On the baseline, bounce pass. Tolley gets fouled on his way up. Tolley takes a hard fall on the hardwood, and it looks like that was in the act of shooting. So Kai Tolley, the big man center for the Dragons, will go to the charity stripe.
And a great two-man game there for Maurice Tavares Jr. and Kai Tolley. Tolley comes over, sets the screen. Tavares Jr. reads it well, gets it to Tolley, who can't convert on the athletic finish, but he gets fouled and has a chance for two freebies here.
Tolley's first is no good. Had promise, couldn't get it there. Don't forget, our next broadcast will be on Monday, it's not January anymore. It's February 10th. It'll be Pittman and Pensgrove in a Tri-County cross-division showdown to see if Pensgrove could hang on to the number 8 spot in South Jersey Group 1. Would be interesting to see if they get a first-round home game down in Kearney's Point. That one is also no good as he hits front iron there. Who got the last touch? Looks like Kingsway will hang on to it after a scramble in the left corner.
Still a very low-scoring affair here, very slow-paced game with a lot of defense being played. And quite honestly, Kingsway has had some good looks, but just struggling to take the lid off early.
Passed across the way to Collier from the semicircle. That's no good. I mean, a lot of missed shots here. I don't think that missed shots really translate to a team playing badly. I think Kingsway and Camden Eastside both playing good defense, like right there from Tolley. Just finding a way to deny the basket. It's not like these guys are always getting open looks. Pretty much every shot except for that one air ball earlier was pretty well contested. So it's more a matter of good defense here, which is what Camden Eastside in the Olympic Conference, that's what they drill into you, because you have to play good defense in the Olympic Conference to play well, and that's why Camden Eastside is holding their own.
Well, and speaking of good defense, Kai Tolley
gets another how about that? Block. All ball. Second block for Tolley. Right down the way, misses. Got a face full of left knee. Now gets another chance. Oh, he missed there. Man, tough break for the Dragons. And here it comes the other way. Johnson takes a block. No, offensive foul on the Tigers.
And a great job there by J.D. Johnson, getting his first career start and already making an impact, drawing a charge there and getting the Dragons the ball.
That's absolutely what J.D. Johnson needed there, taking the charge. I thought that they may have called a block on that, but they end up going the other way for an offensive foul. At the top of the key, moves inside to Collier. Johnson puts up a three. No good, hits the top of the backboard, and they whistle it dead. With 4:04 remaining in the first quarter, and only 2 baskets have been scored between both teams.
But, I mean, that was a good look there for Johnson off a great pass from Terrence Collier, just unable to convert it, and about halfway through this quarter. And as you mentioned, Dan, only 2 baskets dropped for either of these squads.
And it was relatively early. We've seen a big scoring lull here in the first quarter as these guys are getting into the rhythm. I think that it will increase as we go up, as Tolley with a nice save. Foot might have been on the line. Collier is able to save it and feeds it to Johnson. He's got a chance to bring it out. It's Williams Bay from the elbow, back out top. Open look, no. Travel will be called. And after an open look from Tavares, the shooting form was unable to follow through, and they call a travel on the Dragons.
And a tough break right there. Had a wide open look. We saw him miss one earlier, but had a chance to potentially give Kingsway the lead, and now he picks up a foul.
Yeah, just an unfortunate series of events there, but two fouls on Kingsway so far, and just right now, it's been a very interesting first quarter just because it's been good defense on both sides. But as we know from earlier in this game, open looks don't mean anything. You got to make the shot before we can start those narratives. It's back at the top of the key. It's Washam who feeds it to Ba. Floater, good. Nothing but net there. Seeing a lot more fluidity on that Camden Eastside basket. And it's 4-2. 5 minutes gone in the first quarter. I did call an ice hockey game, so I'm still used to saying period. Here comes the breakaway. Feeds it. Right-handed lay. No, couldn't get it. That had everything but a point. And the basket on the second chance finally goes 6-2 Tigers.
Well, a good pass there from Washam. Unfortunately, he doesn't get credit for the assist. But Mangum was able to get his own rebound and put that one back up and make it a 4-point game.
That one's tipped away. It's Washam, bounce pass in the lane. Good. Bryce Hillman's got it. And Kenny Abbott will call a timeout as his team is on a roll. They're rocking and rolling here on the road. They jump out to an 8-2 lead. It's a 30-second timeout, so we will stay on the air. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the most organic food products available in South Jersey, along with toys, cages, accessories, and much, much more. Visit today 7 days a week at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon. Also, don't forget on March 14th, we unveil the coveted 2025 baseball schedule for the season. Bill Alvaro is behind that desk, the head girls soccer and baseball coach, donning the Kelly Green Eagles cap. I'm just saying, never say never, but I think we're going to get some Kingsway baseball action in the spring. But you'll have to wait until March 14th to figure out where we're going. It'll be a full-scale production with on-air hosts, just like we did for basketball, along with special guests, interviews, special games. It should be a 90-minute show that will be star-studded in the South Jersey community. It's brought up the floor by Kingsway. Moving out into the corner for Luka Kuzmic. Goes back to Kuzmic after a bobble. Hanging on to it now, and no good. Kingsway tries to swipe in a rebound, Eastside ball. Just a convoluted play from start to finish, couldn't finish with a basket.
And it was well defended there by Eastside. You saw good ball movement there from Kingsway, but Eastside was able to stay in position, not let anybody free up, and ultimately force a tough shot that was missed there by Kingsway.
It is Washam who has possession, moving into the corner in an 8-2 game, 2 minutes left. At the top of the key, Satchel waits, now feeds it out, catch and shoot, 3! Abdul Ba gets that one, and Camden Eastside holding Kingsway at bay as this one goes back to Williams Bay. It goes to Kuzmic, bounce pass inside to Bay, gets a swipe, foul and one. A huge break for Kingsway as after a big run by the Tigers, they disrupt it with a foul and one, as it will be Desir Williams Bay, who from the free throw line this year is 67%, 55 for 82. And last year was the New Jersey, but he won a defensive award in South Jersey last year in the Tri-County Conference. That one's tipped. Camden Eastside has this one, 90 seconds left. Romello Mangum passes it to Hillman. Puts up a three, no good. Rebounded by Washam. And Washam retreats all the way to the top of the logo. A minute 10 now, as only 15 combined points have been scored and registered in this first period. Back out to Mangum. Ba to Washam again. Back to the top of the key, finally making a move. It is too long. Trying to avoid the line there. It is, well, Micah Hart is in the game after all. He is on the floor here, just did not start. Right now on the floor for Kingsway, it is Bay, Hart, Collier, Kuzmic, and in the corner, Abdullah Bayrete. Here's a three. Airballed again, but luckily Kingsway swipes up. He gets a foul. Camden Eastside now up to 4 team fouls with 26 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
And we're starting to see Kingsway get some major success and start to get the ball rolling when they get the ball inside. You saw the 3 missed, but Collier able to get the rebound and have a chance for 2 at the charity stripe.
Misses his first, but good awareness from Kingsway there. He took a deep shot, didn't get it. And you saw that, you know, Collier was right under it, ready to go, picked up the rebound, saw that it was going to miss, saw that it was going to airball, and then was able to pick it up and draw a foul on his way up. He missed his first. And hold on here. Kenny Abbott talking to the official. I think the discrepancy is that when there was that reach-in foul a couple minutes ago, I saw the ticker go up a foul for Eastside, so they should have 3 fouls, and Kingsway should have 2. I don't know if Kenny Abbott caught that. I think once they got close to the bonus, they were like, yeah, that's got to be fixed, but I'm not sure if that's what was being discussed. Either way, they resume, and Collier is at the line. Scoreboard remains the same, though. They say Camden Eastside has 4 fouls. Coming in for Kingsway, number 23, Owen Ellison. 6'5" senior. 25 seconds remain, and it's 11-5. Crossing over half court. Back out to the half court line for Washam. He'll take his time, and in classic Olympic Conference fashion, they will draw a slow as molasses play to end this quarter. It's Washam. Double guarded, now back out to Hillman. He's got 2 seconds left, running out of time. Gets the shot off in time, no good. Couldn't get it. Would have been the cherry on top, but instead it's a 6-point lead for the Tigers over the Dragons in a star-studded fight here on Friday night. It's 11-5 after the first frame. Welcome back to Kingsway, one of my favorite places to be here in South Jersey, right off of 322 and Kings Highway. Not the Kings Highway I grew up on, but certainly a very nice place here in, I almost said Swedesboro, but Woolwich Township, right up the road from Bridgeport Speedway, hosting a World of Outlaws race over in July. Should be a fun one for me to go to at least. It will be Kingsway ball to start the second quarter, 11-5. Camden Eastside got off to an 11-2 run. Kingsway starting to claw back, though, and starting to find some cracks in the Eastside defense. Bounce pass went awry. It was intended for Abdullah Bayrete and just couldn't get that one. Turnover Eastside.
And again, we're starting to see that Kingsway is trying to find a little more success down low. And we talked about it, a lot of height on these two teams. It was going to come down to who could win down in the low block. And right now, Camden Eastside has the advantage.
3-ball good from Ba. That's his second triple of the night. 14-5.
And Ba has had himself a game here tonight, been a major offensive hotspot for Camden Eastside.
And if he can hang on to that momentum, it will be hard for Kingsway to overcome that. That's a hard pass that goes away, and it'll be another turnover. 2 turnovers in first 55 seconds, and it will be Micah Hart, who, as we said in the pregame open, we weren't sure if he was going to play at all. He just didn't start. It was Johnson who took his place. He has not re-entered the game since Hart came in. However, seems to be doing well for himself. 4.5 rebounds, 9.5 points, and 3 assists per game in 20 games played. I'm sorry, 16 games played this season. And 2.5 steals per game as well for the junior. As yet another turnover brings the ball up the court for the Tigers. It's Hillman. Now a floater no good from number 3, Jaden Faison. And 14-5, 9-point game. Kingsway corner 3 from Kuzmic. Can't get it. Offensive rebound, and the pass goes nowhere. Another turnover. This is something that's not going to be a good omen for Kingsway if they keep the pace up where they just keep turning the ball over. That's not going to be something, especially if Eastside gets in a groove, you don't want to have them turning the ball over.
Already down on the scoreboard, and now back-to-back-to-back turnovers. 3 turnovers in 3 consecutive possessions. Kingsway's got to clean it up and hold on to the ball for longer in the second quarter.
Especially when you have a sharpshooter like Abdul Ba, who can definitely hit it from deep, can hit it from the corner, can hit it from each wing. He can find an opportunity to get the ball in the basket, as we've seen several times from him. So Kingsway is definitely going to have to limit their mistakes.
And with the 2 threes made tonight, Ba has now 20 3-point makes on the year.
It's Washam taking his time, guarded with distance by Bay. 3. Too long. Rebound by Brady Shelton. Put up 8 points versus Clearview back on January 23rd. Look out. It's going to be Hart. Guarded in heavy traffic. Back out. Shelton, 3. Good! Brady Shelton with a 3 as the senior guard brings the home crowd some energy in their basket. 14-8.
And a much-needed basket there for Kingsway. Good shot there by Brady Shelton, and an even better pass from Micah Hart to sense the open man, get it to him, and he converted.
It's Washam back out to Ba in the corner for Faison. Another heave across the way. Ba is open in the corner. He feeds to him, guarded by Shelton. Now it's back at the volleyball line. Ba's got a good look, dribbles once, 3 no good. It's Faison. Pass at the corner, almost got taken in by Kuzmic. At the top of the 2-point basket, that doesn't go. It gets turned over. Shelton, how about that? Can't get it. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds. Kingsway wanted to travel. And a handful of subs coming in for Camden Eastside. It's going to be Romello Mangum coming back in, number 10, Kaheem Hamilton. And let's see here, we got number 15, Elijah Satchel, back on the floor. As Hillman goes to the bench. Turnover off the inbound. Fouled on his way up. Washam got hit there, and that'll be the 2nd foul against Kingsway.
Another turnover there for the Dragons. That's their 4th of the quarter. And a good job there by Tyrone Washam to just drive inside, not shy away from the contact. Knows he's going to get fouled, takes the contact, and now has a chance here for a couple free throws.
And Camden Eastside, like we said going into this game, do not be fooled by their record on paper. They are 7-11, but they are in one of the toughest divisions in South Jersey. As in the Olympic National, they're dealing with, as you said in the open, some fringe nationally ranked programs. PVI going to be good year in and year out. Camden hasn't been under 500 in 15 years. Camden Catholic off to a great year with Bryce Clark, Seamus Big, Luke Kennevan. Just, I think, broke the scoring record over at Camden Catholic a couple nights ago, and Bishop Eustace. Of course, they're no strangers to PVI and Camden Catholic because Kingsway played them last week, lost both games. Fadeaway no good. Somehow gets the offensive rebound. They again, somehow hanging on to the possession. Brian Shelton, no good. Low arcing three there, but how about this for a steal? And good. 16-10 as a handful of turnovers and chaos under the basket gets 2 points in the favor of the Dragons.
And we talked about how well Camden Eastside played defensively, but offensively they didn't put up enough of a lead, and now we're looking at a 6-point game where Kingsway is right back in it, even with their poor start offensively in the first.
Getting ready to check in for Kingsway will be Maurice Tavares Jr., one of the original 5 for the Dragons tonight. It's back beyond the volleyball line as it's Satchel, turnover. Here's Tavares, 2-on-1, right-handed lay is good as it rattles the backboard. And Kingsway starting to crawl back in. It's a 4-point game, and seems like now both teams are having trouble with turnovers.
Yeah, absolutely, and right now just Kingsway riding off the home crowd and momentum, a couple turnovers and a strong finish there from the senior leader, Desir Williams-Bay.
Again, on top of the logo, it's Tyrone Washam. Moving out into the corner, catch and shoot, no good. Rebounded though. Eastside hangs onto the ball and a foul is called as Hamilton gets hit on his way up to the basket. And Kingsway now gets hit with their 3rd foul of the second quarter.
And Hamilton is a guy that can come off the bench and really make an impact, not in the scoring category, but with his rebounding. 6.8 rebounds per game. In 12 games played, and he had a season-high 14 rebounds against Paul VI on January 30th.
Not too long ago, as here comes the first of 2. Good for Hamilton. Going to the bench for Camden Eastside is Jaden Faison as Hillman checks back in. Kai Talley also back on the floor for Kingsway as Shelton, who hit a 3-pointer earlier in the quarter, and Micah Hart go to the bench. Here's the second of 2. No good there. Camden Eastside hangs on to the rebound, a little bit of a push, pulls up from 2-point land, no good. Another rebound by Mangum. Another bounce pass, inside. That one gets denied. And now it's Luka Kuzmic who fires the ball all the way to Camden County, and it's out of bounds.
Looks like the official took a tumble. Not sure if he got tripped up.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I was looking more at the pass there from Kuzmic.
I did not see that. Oh, luckily, he's okay, getting a nice ovation. You know, we saw in the, I don't know if you were there for ACIT in Triton back in September for football. We had a game where the official actually tracking down a pass, one of the referees on the sideline got caught up and got tripped on the chains. For the first down chains, had a nasty gash on his leg, and we actually had a stoppage of play for an ambulance to go onto the field. He didn't end up going in the ambulance, but he got medical attention on the field, and they ended up having to call a replacement referee to finish the game. So luckily, that was not as bad of a situation. But 17-12, 2:30 left in the second quarter. But it shows, you know, listen, the players are just as, the officials are just as vulnerable to trips and falls as the players are. It's Hillman, back to Washam.
And if a player is to get injured, it only hurts one team, whereas if the official is ended up getting injured and you need a replacement, it impacts the entire game.
Absolutely. Bounce pass again, foul. Satchel gets hit. And some of the home folks thinking that was all ball. Either way, that is the first foul against Tolley. And we've seen a lot of free throws in this second quarter and could see more before the end.
Yeah, we have. And I mean, with that possession right there, Bryce Hillman had a really good pass inside to Elijah Satchel, which allowed for him to go up. And Kai Tolley picking up a foul. But it's better to get the foul than just an easy free 2 points off of a good pass.
Some good possessions for Camden Eastside, I'll tell you that. They have been making their money's worth here in this one. But Kingsway has been closing the gap. It is 19-12. 7-point lead. Here's a three. Good. Falling away in the same spot the official fell. Tavares had to catch his balance. Back to a 4-point game. 19-15 here.
We saw Tavares Jr. struggle earlier, but make no mistake, 17 points in the last time he played. Now his 21st three-point make, and he averages 2.4 steals per game. A threat on both sides of the basketball for Kingsway.
Absolutely. He's been somebody that they have been, he's been an invaluable resource for these guys. And, you know, for Kingsway being such a good team, you have to think with a roster makeup like this, if you have one or two pieces missing, how many of those 16 wins go away? And, you know, I say that a lot about a select few number of teams, and Kingsway's one of them, where if one of their smaller pieces isn't there, then their entire team is not going to be themselves. That's another three falling away. Maurice Tavares Jr. lights it up. 19-18, 48 seconds left.
And now just a 1-point game where Kingsway, their offense was very cold to start in that first quarter. It's found its life, and the crowd is rocking here in the South Gym.
If they can take the lead before the halftime break, that will be a huge boost for Coach Kuzmic and a big talking point for Kenny Abbott as a foul against Eastside. It's going to be Mangum. Just their first foul. Camden Eastside, props to them. They have certainly been conservative on the fouls, and that's always something that you like to see if you're an Eastside fan, is that, yeah, you're leading, but you're also playing the game the clean way. You're not, you're not getting yourselves into trouble while doing it. These guys are playing pretty much a perfect blend of basketball here.
But on the contrary, I mean, they've played very well defensively. Kingsway has started to get a little bit of life, but we'll have to see if they can adjust in the second half, if they can score more and stretch their slim lead. 5
seconds left. They're at the top of the key. Players are going everywhere. Here's a catch and shoot in the corner. No good. Can't get a shot off. And Camden Eastside, by the skin of their teeth, will have the lead as Abbott goes into the locker room. 19-18. A weird first half. And, man, a low-scoring one at that, as Camden Eastside and Kingsway in a war of attrition here in the South Gym. We'll be back in just a few moments here at the DWB halftime break. 1-point lead for the Tigers. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales
sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away.
2 minutes remaining. 4 fouls on St. Joe's. 1 more and it's a bonus, which would greatly help Gloucester Catholic. The moving green guard! It's a 1-point game just like that! This place is going nuts! And now a drive to the basket by Spross. He lays it up and lays it in! St. Joe's has 2 timeouts remaining. Gloucester Catholic still has 3. Here we go. Mascaro pulls up. He goes to 3! 6 points! Jack Mascaro has tied the game with 90 seconds remaining. How will the Wildcats respond with a miss of
Welcome back here from Kingsway. It's Camden Eastside 19, Kingsway 18 in a low-scoring affair here at the halftime break. And Eastside, they were off to a good start, but Kingsway closed the gap, and now it's a one-point game at the break.
Yeah, well, I mean, credit Abdul Ba for that hot start. Had a very tremendous first quarter, carried it over into the second. He's been the bright spot for them offensively. Number 0 there for the Camden Eastside Tigers. Had a pretty good showing here in that first half.
And absolutely, Kingsway as well. Some credit deserved from their bench. I mean, Brady Shelton, Luka Kuzmic, they've had some bright spots. But Desir Williams-Bay, and especially Terrence Collier with his rebounding ability, he has been top-notch tonight and has helped the Dragons get back into it. Desir Williams-Bay as well. I mean, one of the leading scorers on this team. He's going to be an important piece moving forward. But I think Kingsway's got the momentum on their side. Camden Eastside was up. I think it was 6 points at the first quarter break. Now they're up by 1. They got some points back, but there was that big run in the first quarter that they have not matched yet. And Kingsway has been able to mirror that and get themselves back in the offensive game.
And as we talked about in the open, it's a very balanced Kingsway team. You're not going to see a lot of different people scoring, and somebody that you didn't really mention but had a big impact with 2 threes right around the time of the break was Maurice Tavares Jr., who had 2 threes, had a tremendous job. He didn't start off the game very hot, was able to pick himself back up, had a good second quarter, and gave now Kingsway a little bit of life, and it's anybody's game headed into the second half.
Reminds me a little bit of Jack Mastero of Gloucester Catholic. He almost never is hot to start the game. He misses a couple shots, and then he's just electric, just like that. Let's turn this camera around to show the beautiful folks of Woolwich Township and the Kingsway South Gym, as it will be the first possession for Eastside to start the second half. It's Tyrone Washam. Back to Satchel. At the volleyball line, it's Mangum. Again, back out to the top of the key, guarded by Bay. Moving inside on the baseline, Tolley goes up for the block. Hands up. Collier is the one who picks up the rebound, and J.D. Johnson will heave a possession way out there. Some heavy passing. And it's back out to Tavares, who we mentioned earlier. Oh, straight up. Tolley puts it back down. Kingsway has their first lead of the night.
And Tavares Jr. unable to convert on the layup, but Kai Tolley using his 6'6" frame to just catch that one out of the air.
Offensive foul gets called. Hold on. Trying to figure out. One of the officials just went back to the. Yeah, one of the officials is going back to the locker room, the Kingsway locker room.
It was the official that had taken the fall.
You're
earlier.
right. So, well, June Chaffee, the Kingsway athletic director, now speaking to one of the officials. We've seen this crew several times. So we will resume play with 2 officials. Not something we see that often, but the consequences of that is that sometimes you see some missed calls down the edge of the floor because you only have 2 guys calling this game. Tolley, slam! Kai Tolley, 2 officials or 3, it doesn't matter. He's got 2 points with 2 hands and a jam.
Big ups there from Tolley and gave this gym the spark that they needed. Now Kingsway picking up right where they left off. They lead by 3.
22-19. Abdul Ba moves through the traffic, loses it, brings it back to Mangum. Hillman. Some crafty dribbling. Uh-oh. Thought he took an extra step there, but it's Washam. Back out to Washam. He's got it guarded by Johnson. Moving out for Satchel. Back to the top of the key. Catch and shoot. No good. 3-ball would have tied the game, but now Kingsway's got a chance to extend it, and ball went out of bounds. Eastside ball took some contact near the scorer's table. Yeah, hopefully that official's all right. It looked like he you talk about that tumble earlier, and then at the beginning of the half, he went over into the Kingsway locker room. So whatever the situation is, it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out with two officials, whether or not he returns. Like, I've seen it before where an NBA game had an official missing as that one goes out of bounds. Kingsway ball. But what's going to be important for them is making sure that they get all the calls right because they're down a man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it kind of came down to the game was still going on, and there may have been some adrenaline involved. And then when the halftime break came around, maybe some more of that pain finally set in, and the official had to wave the white flag and tap out. At least for now, we'll have to see how that little sidebar continues.
Foul, no and one, but Desir Williams-Bay gets hit on his way up. Second foul against Eastside. Let's listen to the student section as Williams-Bay shoots his free throws. Misses his first. Makes his second. Would have been a little bit wiser to do it when Camden Eastside was shooting so we could get the home student section. That's an oversight on my part. But second foul against the Tigers. It's Abdul Ba, guarded by Johnson. Back out to Satchel. Washam has an open look on the other side. He now moves into the baseline. Bit of a convoluted underhanded lay. And Johnson will take the bounce pass and bring this one back up the floor. 4-point lead for Kingsway, the biggest lead they've had tonight. Make that 6. Terrence Collier drives it in to bring Kingsway to the 25 mark.
Nice job there by Collier. Quick first step to that baseline, blew by the defender and was able to get an easy layup.
Foul called on Kingsway. A swipe from the back will be called against Tavares. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road. Moving across the half-court line is Washam. Got hit, double guarded, but it's Tully and Tavares who are in there. Now another double guard and a travel called in the paint. Abdul Ba trying to plead his case. And Camden Eastside will call a timeout. Their second. And how about that for a change of pace? 25-19 here in the third quarter. We'll be right back. And welcome back here on the third quarter. Student section, they seem to appreciate us a little bit over here, but hold on, I got to turn this up. Makes me feel good at least. 25-19. Pittman did that a couple weeks ago. That's funny. Oh, it's a humbling feeling, I'll tell you that. It is a very, very humbling feeling. 25-19, 4:50 left in the third. J.D. Johnson. Moving inside to Tully. Corner three. No good. Kind of crab walking back to the corner. It's Johnson who feeds it out. Fading away. No good. Much to the dismay of the home crowd. Moving in. No good there. Third chance is no good, and finally the play stops with a jump ball. Dragons hang on to the possession.
Great aggressiveness there by Kingsway to just crash the boards hard, multiple offensive rebounds, and then forcing a jump ball where they retain possession.
Corner three, good! Maurice Tavares Jr. with his third triple of the night. And this game has completely turned on its head. Camden Eastside looked like that there was no tomorrow, and they were going to just obliterate these guys, but now Kingsway is finding their groove, and they now have a 9-point lead. Camden Eastside has not yet scored in the second half until now. No! Wait, did they call goaltending or did they call offensive interference? Okay, they did call goaltending.
I believe basket interference
No,
on the offensive
They
end.
did call offensive interference. Okay, interesting. I wasn't sure if they called a goaltender offensive interference because there was the tip on the offense. So the basket will not count. Now it's Bay from the semicircle. No good, off the board. And a rebound by Satchel. Wasting no time in double coverage. Washam now a three. Satchel, no good. And a foul will be called, looks like on the Dragons. Yeah, foul's going to be on Johnson.
And a lot of time drained off this clock. Camden Eastside has yet to score 28-19 with about 3.5 minutes remaining. And you can start to see a team that we talked about that likes to take it slow, play at their pace. Camden Eastside starting to speed up.
A 10-0 run just got broken by the Tigers. They get a basket from number 10, Kaheem Hamilton, who's seen some minutes tonight. 28-21, looking like a football score from the Constitution Division for Camden Eastside. As here we go. Oh, look out. Nice spin move. Bay, Williams Bay, that is, feeds it to Micah Hart. Micah Hart trying to use some magic to get around him there. Here's a catch and shoot three, no good. Brought in by Washam. Moving out into the corner. Nice move by Eastside. Basket good. Bryce Hillman cuts the lead, and Camden Eastside finally getting the energy that they needed back. It's a 5-point game.
Camden Eastside starting to go on a run of their own. Big momentum swing there for the visiting Tigers.
That one no good. Camden Eastside going to bring it back across the way. Here's a catch and shoot on the pass. Good! Abdul Ba! This game has been turned on its head more times than I can think of. It's 28-26. And it is now a 2-point game as Kingsway, after having a 10-0 run to start the half, up by 9. We've got pandemonium in the paint as Collier fell on top of Ba. The foul's going to be called against Ba, and Johnson, after a brief hiatus, will check back in.
So there's that man again, Abdul Ba, with a big shot there to cut the lead for Kingsway to 2, and Camden Eastside right back in this game. But now he's going to be checked out, his third foul of the contest, something to keep an eye on as we get into the later stages of this game. 5
total fouls in the third. 3 fouls for Eastside, 2 fouls for Kingsway, and we saw it because they were so just drastically bad at foul management, and they just could not get possession without a foul to save their life. Camden Eastside just tied the game 28-28, but games can be more lost by foul management, and these guys right now, neither team has reached the bonus limit in either quarter today, but a very conservative approach on fouls. Camden Eastside only had 2 in the second quarter. 28-28, minute 35 left. Catch and shoot, Brady Shelton, no good. Bryce Hillman now, back to Washam. Satchel, inside, fires that one off the window. Satchel picks up his own offensive rebound, can't get it there. Last touch was Collier. Eastside retains possession.
And as we mentioned, a lot of height on both of these teams, and so far the success has seemed to be with the team that's controlling the inside of the paint. And right now you're seeing on this run, Camden Eastside getting a lot of their baskets from down inside the low post.
Corner 3 to take the lead. Bryce Hillman, 31-28 as a triple in the final 7. And Kingsway having to kind of walk back with their planning here as a big run gets thwarted, and Eastside with a run of their own.
Well,
he was going to go for a free.
Just as I talked about with Eastside controlling the paint, there was a 3 for them to take the lead.
31-28, now moving inside. Collier all over, foul. as Yamir Boyd will be the one to get hit with the foul. Actually, no, it'll be Hamilton who got hit. Boyd was also in there in the paint. So Terrence T.J. Collier, 31-28. 4 fouls for Eastside. They're getting ever so close to that bonus. Shot is good. This broadcast is brought to you by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, South Jersey's best pro wrestling organization with high-flying action and nonstop entertainment throughout the state. For more information on ticketing and future events, visit dawgprowrestling.com. No good. Makes 1 of 2, and now it's a 2-point game, 31-29, as Eastside retains the lead for the first time in the half, 40 seconds and counting, as Washam will take his time going across the way. Guarded heavily by Kuzmic on top of the Kingsway logo. It's Mangum. Again, guarded by Bay. They are basically forcing him into a trap. As it looks like, again, Eastside is determined to have the last possession of the quarter. 12 seconds left. Eastside transmitting directions. 8 seconds left. It's Washam. Guarded with distance by Johnson. Stepping back. Double coverage. Moves over in the corner. 2 seconds left. Move forward for a buzzer-beating 3, but he can't get it. And a heck of a third quarter ends on a whimper. 31-29 after the third frame. Eastside has been making this one interesting. We'll be back in just a moment here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Here in the fourth quarter, welcome back. Kingsway 29, Camden Eastside 31, the three-peat South Jersey champions from 2009 to 2010 and 2011. Still no sign of that third official. We may go for the rest of the game without him. Kingsway's last boys basketball conference championship was in 2019 as a part of another three-peat run from 2017, 18 to 19. Could very well be another conference champion this year with a 7-0 divisional record. Right now, Kingsway is the number 6 seed in South Jersey Group 4. They would play number 11 seed Egg Harbor if the season ended today. Either that or Howell. They are also right in there in the mix. 3! Abdul-Bah extends the lead. Camden Eastside, though, in Group 2, they're in the 12th spot. If the season again ended today, they will play number 5 seed Haddonfield, who again, after losing their entire starting lineup, is still 16-5. Corner 3! Three-point palooza to start the fourth quarter. It's Tavares Jr. back with the energy from the late second, 34-32.
And Tavares saying anything you can do, I can do better there to Abdul-Bah. Hits the 3, still a 2-point game, but Friday night hoops here at Kingsway, the atmosphere is electric.
Absolutely. You can just feel it. Not just because the Eastside cheerleaders are doing a Woodbury style and making the grandstand shake. What a save, J.D. Johnson. Falling away, he's able to retain the possession. In traffic, no good, it's blocked at the rim. Both teams have a player down. It's back to Johnson. Right-handed floater, no good. Satchel rebound. Mangum brings it back. It's Washam into the corner. Bah has been electric all night. Washam went to set a screen. Now he's got the ball. Corner three, contact. He'll get 3 shots. It's TJ Collier who, pretty clear as day, made some contact, made heavy contact. And it will be 3 foul shots for the Tigers in a 2-point game. Could make this as much as a 5-point lead if he hits all 3.
Yeah, Bryce Hillman going to the line, 19 for 29 at the charity stripe entering today. That checks out to about 65%.
That percentage will go down after the miss there. Hillman, season high 29 points versus fellow Olympic foe Shawnee back on December 17th in their season opening game. Also has scored double-digit points in 10 of 11 games this season. He makes 2 of 3. Still a good scenario there. Tolley in trouble. He'll get fouled. So a handful of fouls back-to-back. Kai Tolley will now go to the line again for 2.
And while J.D. Johnson hasn't done a lot in the scoring category, he's done a lot of the little things right. Finding Kai Tolley, who was wide open there. Again, doesn't get the assist, but sends him to the free throw line. We saw him draw a charge earlier in this game and a big save in the 4th quarter earlier. So J.D. Johnson in his first start, maybe not in the statistical category making an impact, but definitely in the hustle category.
Absolutely. It's a 1-possession game now, 36-33. That shot is good, 36-34. Washam has this one. Kingsway with one of the best records in South Jersey, not just on the hardwood, but on the camera. They're 7-3 in 10 games on DWB. Camden Eastside 0-1 in just 1 appearance, which was back in October versus Pennsauken. 3! Abdul Ba, his 5th from downtown, 39-34. Out to Johnson now. Another good pass. Collier taking his time, too long. Collier gets fouled after an offensive rebound. And I have a feeling this 4th quarter is going to be pretty foul heavy. We might see some bonuses before the 3-minute mark, if you ask me, if this pace keeps up. But Collier will go to the line.
Collier had a very good game to this point on the glass. Done a very good job for Kingsway of getting offensive rebounds to give them a second chance throughout the duration of this game.
And Collier's just been one of those guys, like we said earlier in the game. Kingsway is such a deep team in terms of how many bench assets and how many, starters and bench players who do their role. They don't overperform, they don't underperform, they do exactly what they are meant to do. And if you are missing one or two of those pieces, you're not going to be all that successful. And like I said, I said it like a broken record, Kingsway is one of the few teams that fits that moniker, that fits that motto. Foul, offensive foul. Basket is good, I apologize. Referee pointed the other way. I apologize. That is Satchel, who will get a foul and 1 in this game now, 41-36. 5:28 left in the 4th. And Kingsway is going to try to close the space between this gap here with 5:28 left in the 4th.
Great 2-man game there from Washam to Satchel, who had great body control as he went up and double clutched, got the layup to drop. Couldn't get the old-fashioned 3-point play, but nevertheless, a momentum swing there for Eastside as they have a 41-36 lead.
Momentum has definitely shifted a handful of times tonight. Oh, that hit off the wire, so that will be a turnover. Yeah, that one barely just touched the wire on top of the backboard. 5-point lead, 41-36. 2 fouls on each side. It's Hillman. Back to Washam. Feeds it to Satchel. Guarded by Tolley. Inside 2-point land. This one goes back out Eastside has certainly set up shop as a 360 move inside is good. Kenny Abbott again giving instructions as a half-court press. Looks to suppress any opportunity for Kingsway to get ahead. Bounce pass, Collier up, rocks it off the glass. And Kenny Abbott, no, it will be Coach Kuzmic who calls a timeout. 43-38, we'll be right back. 5-point game. Yeah. 43-38 under the lights of the Kingsway South Gym. This broadcast is brought to you by the Rowan College of South Jersey Roadrunners Athletic Department. Some of these players on the floor could be donning the blue and gold in the 25-26 school year. Prospective athletes who wish to join the award-winning and national championship-bound Roadrunners should visit their prospective athlete forum at rcroadrunners.com and follow them on all social media platforms at rcroadrunners. 43-38, 4:15 left, 5-point lead for Eastside in a game that has been topsy-turvy. A game that started off with an 11-2 run for Eastside. Kingsway crawled back. It was a 6-point game at the end of the first quarter, but only a 1-point game at the end of the half as a foul is called. It was a 19-18 low-scoring halftime score, but then Kingsway had a 10-0 run to start the second half, but that has been all but erased as a 5-point lead for the Tigers has set off a kind of chain reaction back and forth scoring loop. As blocked by Tolley at the rim, that one's good by Satchel on the second chance. Again, Eastside extends their lead. Their largest lead has been 9 tonight.
And we've seen Elijah Satchel really kind of come to life here in this fourth quarter, down in the low post for Camden Eastside.
It is Hart who brings this one in. Bounce pass, moving in, good. 45-40, 3:25 left, and this is the start of the clock management showdown, where Camden Eastside is most likely not going to attempt that many shots until Kingsway forces them to, or they draw a foul, because they've got a 5-point lead, but they want to make sure Kingsway gets as few possessions as possible. And that's a bad mistake there. Rebound now by Kingsway. I think Eastside needed to hang on to the ball a little longer. With no shot clock, Kuzmic calls a timeout. With no shot clock, it's important that they hang on to the ball. It's a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay here. But the thing is that with no shot clock, we've seen it in the Olympic Conference time and time again. It's how all of those teams play. If you've got the lead with 4 or less minutes left, they're just not going to shoot the ball. They will make sure you either force a steal, you foul, or they just hang on to it. Martin Luther King Day, we saw RV and Woodbury. RV had the last possession for the last minute and 25 seconds of the game. Straight. No whistles, no fouls. They just stood there. Dribble, 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 pass, pass, dribble. That's all they did. So if Camden Eastside is going to win this game with confidence, they have to make sure that they hang on to the ball more, because shots like that don't go, heavily contested shots, that's dangerous for Camden Eastside, and they want Kingsway to have as little possessions as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, but I mean, Kingsway is really ramping up their pressure defensively. We've seen both teams get very aggressive now under the 3-minute mark here in this fourth quarter. For Camden Eastside, if you want to hold on to the ball, you got to make sure you hold on to it, don't turn it over, and give Kingsway an easy look on the other end.
J.D. Johnson, absolutely, I agree. It's been an interesting game. Foul called. And Kingsway ramping up the pressure. Camden Eastside gets bit there. Kenny Abbott arguing the foul. It's the third team foul against both teams with 2:54 left. Johnson inbound. He finds Williams Bay, who immediately tips it back to Johnson at the volleyball line. It's Desir Williams Bay. Oh, he gets the ball ripped away from him. A jump ball is called. Possession arrow will go in the favor of the Dragons. I don't know. Was that all ball from your angle, or did you think that was a foul?
From up here, up top, I definitely thought that there was a foul. You got the arm before the ball, and as we mentioned, this is a tight game. Missing that third official, an extra set of eyes.
Yeah, the difference, the impact of it is showing.
Regardless, been a great game. Now a one-possession game as Eastside leads by 3, and we'll have to see how the remainder of this one plays out.
45-42, 2:25 remaining. This one could go down to the wire, or it could be the second game this year on DWB to go to overtime. Foul called on Johnson.
Kingsway trying to be aggressive there and trap Washam. They get it on TJ Collier of Kingsway.
Definitely an interesting situation there as 2:20 left.
Washam lost his footing because of that pressure, and ultimately that's what called the officials' eyes to it for him to call the foul.
Back at the half-court line, nearly stepping over, got close. Washam now moving back to the three-point line. Washam looks, moves back out, bobbles the ball, and it gets away.
A costly turnover there is now about 2 minutes remaining in regulation, a one-possession game, and now the door opens for Kingsway to make it a one-point game or potentially tie with a 3.
The door is absolutely open. 2 minutes remain. 45-42. They have left that door open. Johnson gets a look from 3 to tie the game. No good. Eastside rebound, rips it away. Satchel.
We've seen a lot of strong rebounds from Elijah Satchel on defensive end. Kingsway, as we talked about, they're hitting the glass hard, but Satchel pulls down a big defensive rebound, and now a timeout for Kenny Avon and Camden Eastside.
Eastside calls a timeout. It is a full timeout, 1:32 to play. The door has never been more open. We'll be right back. 45-42, Tigers over the Dragons. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Back here at Kingsway, 45-42. Let's check in on some out-of-town scores. Cherry Hill West beat Audubon 41-35. Haddon Township beat Penn Tech 52-39. Over in the Metro Classic at Franklin High School, PVI fell to South Shore, New York, 42-36. That's all the way up in North Jersey and South Shore, New York. I believe that's somewhere on Long Island, but they are trailing, or they did trail at the end of the game. Holy Cross trails Thrive Charter, formerly Trenton Catholic. 4 minutes left in the fourth, 55-40. Camden Eastside has possession. 1:30 and counting. 4 fouls on Kingsway, 3 fouls on Eastside. Kingsway's got to be careful to avoid some free charity stripe visits. And Camden Eastside trying to solicit a foul, trying to draw one. It's Hillman, guarded by Johnson with space. Makes contact with the right arm. Crosses over to the left. Almost a steal. Couldn't get it. And now a foul. It's going to be Kingsway who gets hit with 1:02 left. And that will get the Dragons over the bonus. Camden Eastside now will go to the line. And it'll be Abdul-Bah.
And probably the last guy you want to foul, the spark plug for this Camden Eastside offense here tonight has been Abdul-Bah, number 0, the sophomore, having a tremendous highlight reel game. And he adds another point to his stat sheet with the free throw.
An interesting point here. Kahim Hamilton is in for starter Romello Mangum, who has had substantial minutes. He misses his second free throw, so it is 46-42. However, an over-to-back foul is called. That is now Camden's fourth, Eastside's fourth, rather. So here we go. 1 minute left. 60 ticks of the clock remain in a 4-point game. Eastside missed 1 of 2 from the line and got hit with a foul. They're 1 away from drawing the bonus and giving Kingsway a break. Johnson is back at the volleyball line. Johnson over to Tavares. Bounce pass inside to Collier. He's still standing on the 3-point line. Johnson moving over into the corner. They'll have to get a shot off soon to start off the foul chain reaction. Right-handed lay is blocked at the rim. Collier, second chance. It's tipped in by Tolley. Kenny Abbott wants offensive interference. And he is very upset that offensive interference wasn't called, as it was on the other end of the floor earlier in the quarter. So, very interesting. And with 29 seconds left, it's 46-44. Not sure if they called a 30 or not, but we'll stay on the air because I don't know what's going to happen. This is going to be an interesting game. Let's catch you up on what's going on the week ahead. We've got a light week next week on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. It is Pittman and Pennsgrove, 5:30 tip on Monday, February 10th. Yes, everybody will be wiped, including myself, the day after the Super Bowl. But whether we win or lose, we bring you coverage no matter what. Then on Saturday, it's going to be the fan vote game in the first round of either the Burlington County Tournament or the Camden County Tournament. The 4 options available were Pennsauken Gloucester, Penn Tech Woodbury, Shawnee Cherokee, or I believe the other one was Medford Tech and Cinnaminson. Checking up on the poll, we have a tie. Pennsauken and Gloucester and Shawnee Cherokee are at 38.1% each. So that poll will close at midnight, and then we will decide what our Saturday plans are on February 15th. But as we wind down the season, get into the heavy stretch of things, it's going to be very interesting. 46-44, a tip from Kai Tolley will bring Camden Eastside the ball back. Kingsway over the foul limit. Eastside 1 behind. They would improve to 8-11 with a win, and for Kingsway, this would be a bit of an alarm for them, as they will have lost, if they lose tonight, 3 of their last 4, which all to Olympic opponents. Don't get me wrong, still a very top echelon team to play. Eastside would improve to 8-11. Kingsway would fall to 16-4. It's going to be Satchel with the ball. Tolley fouls. And for a guy that's kind of smart. He's only shooting 44% from the free throw line. That might be smart to foul him there. Instead of fouling a guy like Bah, who's 69%, Washam, who's 67%. The job of the team that is anticipating a foul, is to foul the guy who's not going to shoot that well from the line. He misses his first. This crowd's loving it. Let's listen to this Kingsway student section before the second free throw. Makes his second.
And that's a big free throw there. A guy that shoots under 50% from the line, as you mentioned, 44% entering tonight's contest. Makes it now a 3-point game. And Kingsway needs a 3 to just tie it and maybe send it to overtime.
Johnson moving across the way. And Kuzmic calls a timeout to bring the energy down in the room a little bit. It's a full timeout, so we'll take a break. Kingsway will have the ball right in front of us when we come back. 16.9 seconds left, 47-44. It comes down to this, 16.9 seconds left. Kingsway trails by 3. They'll need a 3 to tie, obviously. Tavares Jr. will inbound. He has been red hot tonight for them, unless they want to go for a 2. If you're Kingsway, I don't think they want to give Camden Eastside another chance with their consistency from the line. They do go for the 2-point layup. It's no good. Second chance, Collier makes it with 6.4 seconds. And now they're running out of time. The clock is running. The clock is running, and no, there should be 6 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Dan, I think the clock should have stopped.
The clock absolutely should have stopped. There's no reason.
There were 6.4 seconds, and then the clock continued to run as soon as Camden Eastside touched the ball. And regardless, if there's 6.4 seconds.
The refs are leaving the floor. The game is over. 47-46. Camden Eastside just won this thing. Wow. That is surprising. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not sure what happened there.
I'm not sure how there's not a 5-second violation if there's 6.4 seconds left
and
on the clock. There was no inbound.
It's very, very odd. Kingsway loses in heartbreaking fashion, but obviously the refs must have been in the right because Kuzmic pleaded his case and he seemed to concede. So he seems to be talking it over with his guys now. So it's an unfortunate way to lose, but a grateful way to win for Camden Eastside as they come into one of the toughest gyms to play in South Jersey, and they come out with a win. Not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Again, these guys were up by 9, then Kingsway came back, trailed by 1 at the half. Didn't look like that Camden Eastside had a prayer at the beginning of the third quarter, and at the end of the day, Eastside somehow, some way, crawls back into it.
And a total team win, but if you got to point out one player for Camden Eastside, it's got to be number 0, Abdul Ba, the guard who's in his sophomore season, just felt like he couldn't miss every time he touched the ball and put up a shot, was able to score at all 3 levels of the floor for Camden Eastside, and they played well defensively against an offensive juggernaut in Kingsway.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a kind of alarm for Kingsway. Obviously, they have not lost in conference play, but their 4 losses this year have been to Newman Goretti of PA, of Philly. Then you have 3 Olympic Conference losses. I think right now for Kingsway, right now what they are looking at is a tough road ahead where they're going to be playing a couple of tough games at the end of the season. They'll be playing GCIT, Cumberland, and Mainland. Don't count out Mainland, because even though they started out the year 1-11 under new coach Dan Williams, they have been getting back. And not to mention that the Cape Atlantic American is so difficult. They're kind of in the same boat as Eastside, where, yes, their record doesn't look great on paper, but they can sneak up on you. And I don't think that Kingsway underestimated Eastside by any stretch of the imagination. They played well, they understood the situation, and they realized what had to happen. So they ended up coming out swinging. Eastside did, and then Kingsway was able to catch up. Kingsway is one of those teams that's not going to get off the jump going that well. But then that second quarter was crucial. They cut the lead to 1, came back, then had that crazy run in the third quarter. But Camden Eastside, again, showing the adversity, showing the strength through the adversity. not fazed by the situation, came back and they won this game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it really comes down to that final play. I mean, everything was riding on that, and Kingsway settled for a layup. The clock runs out. Camden Eastside can't inbound the ball, but nevertheless, a huge win for Camden Eastside, who is sitting in 12th in Group 2 South power points. Will probably bump them up and getting a good, long day here. Voice is starting to get a little dry, but a big win against the Kingsway team, who's 6th right now in Group 4 South. But the road doesn't get any easier for Camden Eastside. They have to go up against Camden on the road in their next contest, followed by Bishop Eustis. So 2 in-division matchups, and then against CCTS in the first round of the Camden County Tournament.
And, yeah, I mean, that's not going to be easy for Camden Eastside. Like we said, they're 12th in South Jersey Group 2 at the moment. They would play Haddonfield on the road. Of course, their sister school, Camden, is their partner school. They're number 1. They're right now at the number 1 seed of South Jersey Group 2. So, you know, they'll be playing some heavy competition as pretty much, you know, Death Tax is Camden number 1 seed. But Camden Eastside showing some progress and showing some leaps and bounds in today's win. That'll be all for us tonight here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Stay tuned for Monday in Tri-County action, more Tri-County action between the Pittman Panthers and the Penns Grove Red Devils. Of course, lots of Kelly Green in the crowd tonight as Super Bowl Sunday coming up. Nothing planned for Saturday or Sunday, of course, but we will see you on Monday between Pittman and Penns Grove. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan, my producer, Ryan Sieber, my color commentator, Jake Clark, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you on Monday. And just for the record, EAGLES, Eagles. We'll see you Monday. Have a good one, folks, and have a good weekend.